John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised. Women March, Tapeworms, How to Fix Star Wars, a handful of music news, Celebrity Drop It Like a Deuce, and so much more. That is what's waiting for you in this hour of The John Lebang Show. Greetings, Earthlings. Hello, welcome, and salutations. I'm your host, John Lebang. Thank you for joining me for another hour. Tonight, we've got a great deal of things to get to, but I'd like to touch on a couple things that have been updated since the first hour this week, since the news hour. The government shutdown, according to CNN, is going to risk you and I, ladies and gentlemen, of what? Of an asteroid strike. Apparently, because nobody's going to be watching the space to stop an asteroid from slamming into the Earth, according to CNN. And they're very worried about that. As we spoke about in the first hour, funding for federal agencies ran out of money. Democrats who stuck to demands that any sort of term spending legislation must include protections for young undocumented immigrants known as dreamers. Republicans in turn said they would not negotiate on immigration until Democrats gave them the votes they needed to reopen the government. So the Republicans who hold majority control are blaming the Democrats, the minority, for holding up the government from being open. And the government being open depends on whether the Democrats vote. I thought the Republicans had the majority. Not all the Republicans must be on board, But the Democrats are holding things up from their end because they're more worried about undocumented foreign people who are inside this country illegally than they are about keeping the government open. It's an interesting little tidbit. And to take it a little further before we get into anything else this hour, even though the government shut down, they took in record taxes through November. And they still run a deficit and all that. So in the last 2 months of fiscal year 2000, or the first 2 months of fiscal year 2018, the federal government took in $443 billion plus, almost $444 billion. Despite these record tax revenues, the federal government still ran a deficit of $200 billion. Over $200 billion. And they are shutting the government down because they have no money, apparently. Yet they take in record amounts of money, and that still can't keep them open. The federal government also set a record for individual income tax collections in the first 2 months of the fiscal year 2018. In October and November, the Treasury collected $226 plus billion in individual income tax. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go back to the tax plan that we just had, because this is revealing, very revealing. Here we have the Republicans who give a tax cut. Granted, some people are like, aren't you happy that you get more money back? And I'm like, I'm happy they take less. But they chop the corporate tax about 14 points. The individual income tax, they only chop a couple points. Yet, the individual income tax in the last 2 months was $226.5 billion. That's just the income tax they took in. They took in total $443 billion. So there's 200 and some million dollars, which is less already than the individuals pay that come from corporate and wherever else other taxes they can bring them in. Yet they give the corporations the bigger tax break, even though they generate less tax revenue than the individuals do. Now, if you wanted to give a real tax cut, wouldn't you give the individuals who pay more towards the federal income tax? Why would you give the person who pays less, or I shouldn't call them people because corporations aren't people. Why would you give the entities that are not individuals a tax break of such great magnitude, but not give the people who pay the most as a whole, and that's the individuals? Just an interesting thought there when you think about it. When you look at the fact that the Republicans say they're for the little guy, the Democrats say they're for the little guy, yet neither of them ever do anything directly for the little guy. The Democrats will take something away and then give it back to you with stipulations. The Republicans just go, here's a little, here, you get a little bit. It's a tax. Hey, you get $600 more a year to spend, man. That's a great deal. Who cares if some other corporations out there get millions and millions of dollars to spend every year? They're more important because they give you the job. I love that. See, they hire everybody. That's the argument, right? But I have a better argument than that. They may hire everybody, but we, the individuals, buy everything. Without us, they wouldn't have their businesses. They act like they're the end-all, be-all. We wouldn't have the economy we had without these corporations. That's a bunch of malarkey. The individual goes out there and spends. And if we're at least equally involved, then I'm sorry, I think the individual, they like put, the one individual so small, it's like a grain of sand, they don't count, right? So that's why when they go, oh, the income tax is $226 million out of individuals, they're like, that's not so big deal because, that's split up over a whole lot of people. That's split up over everybody who pays taxes, income taxes. But we pay for everything because corporations, whether they go up in taxes or down in taxes or stay the same, any taxes that they do have to pay, they just work it into the price of their products or services. So they don't really pay those taxes. That is incorporated into the price of whatever they're selling, whatever their products are, whatever their service is. They're not going to just go, we're going to keep it cheap and we'll just take the hit. We're going to take the hit on taxes. No, they figure out what the taxes are going to be or what the taxes per unit are, whatever per the service or per the widget. And they work that into the price. And they probably work in a little extra just to cover for tax increases. Now, we'll see if these tax decreases drive down the price of goods a little bit. I don't think it's going to raise the cost of labor. They're not going to pay people more. Corporations aren't inclined to just go ahead and go, oh, we're going to give people a raise just because, hey, we got more money now because the government hooked us up. We got more money. Let's give everybody a raise. No, they're probably, if they're going to invest it in one way or the other, how many buildings they have, or maybe they'll hire some more people. Maybe they'll buy some more stuff, which will hire more people. Maybe. Or might they just keep that money for themselves. And I'm not complaining that the corporations got tax breaks, because I'm all for tax breaks and cutting people slack and not paying taxes at all. But when they get I think it was double digit at least, but it was like 14% reduction, corporate tax. Permanent, supposedly. Permanent, but there's no permanency on the taxes to the individual. We get a 2% or whatever, and that can go up whenever they want. That's gone on long enough. We know we take more from the individuals than we take from the corporations. The numbers are right there, ladies and gentlemen. You can go look them up yourself. Plain as day, the individuals pay more than the corporations do, or the individuals pay more than everything else besides the individual. There's a lot of us. You get a lot of money that way. Nickel and dime us to death and get a lot of money. It grits at me. And I didn't want to get into this stuff, but we're here in the first segment. We're going to have a little more non-political stuff coming up in the other segments throughout the broadcast. And they get those tax breaks, ladies and gentlemen, because they have those lobbyists that can go up to a senator, go up to a congressman and say, hey, we'll get people to donate to your campaign. We'll hook you up if you hook us up. We need tax break. They will say that the end of the mandate will be a tax break. And sure, I guess technically it is a tax break. It's just giving me back the money they stole from me or they withheld from me. I'd like to actually charge them, find some way that I can get all the past 3 or 4 years back from them. But that'll never happen. Government doesn't like to give up that money too easily. And they like to find ways to keep it. And the big funny is that they're apparently broke right now. They're broke right now. Even though they take in record amounts of income. Now, if you can explain that, ladies and gentlemen, if you can understand that, you're ahead of the game. We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. More on the other side of this. Stay tuned. Now, don't get your panties all worked up.
The John Lebang will be right back.
And you'll love it.
Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-'70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Join the radio revolution right here.
It's better than some good Thai stick, man. Yes, I would like some too. Well, that's too, Leroy. What's that, Uncle Shady? Crappy movies from Disney. I know, Uncle Shady. What was that all about? That's what happens when you put the wrong people in charge of things. Uncle Shady, I have a few questions about it. Well, go ahead, Leroy. I don't know if I can answer them. What happened to Luke? What do you mean? Well, he's not like you used to be. Oh, that's what happens when you get bad writing. Luke was the easiest character they had to write. And they blew it, Leroy. They should hire me to write these movies. Oh, what do you mean, Uncle Shady? I could have done a better job than these social justice idiots. And I'll tell you a better story on the way home than what we just saw, Leroy. Okay, Uncle Shady. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars 8: The Last Jedi. The First Order was chasing after the Resistance. They were running low on gas for some reason. Maybe they didn't fill up somewhere, but that doesn't matter because they're in big trouble now. So they sent out a squad of fighters to try to buy them some time because they can't jump to light speed because of some secret technology that the First Order somehow has where they can track everything, even when you go to hyperspace. In the meantime, Rey is about to meet Luke Skywalker, the Master Jedi Knight. She's hoping to talk him into coming back to fighting the bad guys and bring order to the galaxy.
Now this is the First Order. I'm telling you to surrender now before I blow up your whole fleet.
I reckon I can't hear you. I'm holding for General Hux.
Oh, you're talking to him. Will you just give up and make this easy on me, please?
I'm sorry I can't hear you. I'm waiting for General Hux.
You know what? This guy's an idiot. Blow him out of the sky and kill everybody.
Commence firing.
Hello, is anybody there?
That's what you get when you deal with me. Looks like they blew up Poe.
Oh, that's a shame. I like that, boys. We better get the hells out of here.
Engaging hyperdrive.
Sir, they have engaged hyperdrive.
Oh, they can't get away. Just track them.
Meanwhile, back on the island, Luke's waking up from a bad dream. Oh, that was a nightmare, I tell you. Drinking milk out of the boob of some kind of sea cow. That's gross. Now, who could be at my door at this time of day? What the hell do you want?
Oh, my name's Ray, and I found your daddy's lightsaber.
You know, I lost that a long time ago. Here, give me that. That's cool. Thanks a lot. Hey, Chewie, what's up, man? How you doing? Really? Han's dead, huh? You think I would have sensed that in the Force or something? Guess I'm getting old in my old age. Come on in, everybody. Hey, there's R2-D2. How you doing, brother? Long time since I saw you last. You hungry or something?
Well, we need your help. Well, I feel this force inside me, you know, and I need someone to help me.
Well, you came to the wrong place. I don't do that anymore.
Well, we really need your help. Did you know Princess Leia died too?
What do you mean she's dead?
Oh, she died off camera.
Well, ain't that a bitch? And nobody could get a hold of me, right? Not even a false Skype. I mean, seriously. Now I'm pissed. Who did this crap?
Oh, some guy named Kylo.
You mean Ben Solo did this? He killed his mom and his dad? I hate that little bastard. He was always a prick. And don't get me started on his Dumbo ears.
So could you help me out here?
Listen here, I'm trying to grieve for a moment here. I don't have time to train you.
But I could really use your help.
Listen here, I'll give you 3 lessons.
Oh, that sounds great.
Here's your first lesson. Leave me alone.
Well, what's the second lesson?
Refer back to the first lesson.
You know, you're an old jerk.
Listen here, here's your third lesson. Don't mess with me or I'll kick your butt.
Oh, I'm not afraid of you. I beat Kylo myself, and I've never been trained.
You know, I used to catch him back in the Jedi Temple doing things behind the altar I don't want to even talk about.
Are you going to help me or not?
Listen here, this is your last chance to shut up, you little whiny woman.
Bring it on, old man.
Oh, I sense raw power in you, but you don't know what you're doing. Here, let me teach you a lesson. Well, that puts an end to Mary Sue there. Chewie, where do I find Ben? How you been doing anyway, Chewie? Let's get out of here.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's what's cool on radio.
Now, I don't know how many people out there eat raw fish, the sushi, sashimi, those type of things. I know a lot of people who do and who love the stuff. You might want to reconsider that after this story. Apparently, this gentleman had a 5-foot-long tapeworm wiggle out of his body after he ate sushi for years. The patient recounted the abdominal cramps and other symptoms, including a trip to the bathroom where he discovered what was going on. Quote, imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. You take your pants off. Quote, I looked down and it looked like there was a piece of intestine hanging out of me. The man thought he was dying, yeah. As he goes to drop one, something was dropped. He says, oh my goodness, my guts are coming out of me. And started pulling at the worm. Ugh. Once the tapeworm moved in his hand, just so you know, ladies, just picture this. Moved in his hand. I wonder how horrifying that would be. And then apparently he was relieved that it wasn't his entrails coming out and that it was a tapeworm, and he proceeded to pull it out of his body. Now, he took it to see the doctor. He took it to the doctor because he wanted to make sure he was treated for any other worms that might be inside his body. The doctor measured it, and it was over 5 feet long. Just imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. 5 feet of worm inside your body. Now, I don't know how tall this guy is, to be honest. You know, it doesn't say. But even if he's a 6-foot man, that thing is only 1 inch shorter than he is. And he had to literally pull and tug it out of his body. So my suggestion to everybody who eats all that raw seafood, yuck. I've passed that up, by the way. Never will after this again. I will never will. I never have, never will. Done. On a lighter note, it was a perfect day for women to march, according to Mr. Donald Trump. Guess he tweeted he was supporting those women that were out there marching all over the country. I don't know what they're marching for. Always they're marching in the country of the United States. With all the freedoms these women have, for some reason they find something to be upset about, and they're out marching. So President Trump weighed in on the Women's March with a tweet. He's getting a little backlash. You know, he gets backlash whether he weighs into something or not, so he might as well weigh into it. Now, marches were underway in New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Dallas, Denver, Chicago, Philadelphia, all the normal suspects. Famous hacks, as in Jane Fonda, Whoopi Goldberg, Scarlett Johansson, Natalie Portman, all spoke at these various events. More are being held in other parts of the country and overseas to mark a year since last year's mass protest, which did nothing, don't even know what they were about, don't even care really. Just more people mad about something. There's really, I don't know what they're mad about. They coincide with the government shutdown and with President Trump's 1-year anniversary in office. It's all Trump's fault. So they've gotten women to hate Trump for whatever reason. They're marching. It's on an anniversary, and the shutdown happens all at the same time. By the way, that in some ways is, if it's not draining the swamp, it's blocking the swamp for a couple days by having it shut down. These marches also take on the monument of the Me Tooers and Time's Up movement and Time's Up movements against sexual misconduct. One day we're going to talk about sexual misconduct because everybody in one way or another has had to deal with it. They are not expected to draw the same numbers as last year's demonstration because people are sick of it. We're tired of the whiny people protesting everything. You're in the United States of America. This is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. This is the nature of today's current political environment. You protest things that you think are egregious, yet you live in there's not a better country in the world. Are we perfect? No. But when you're complaining about the things you're complaining about, and then these same people defend the ethnic traditions of certain individuals and certain groups of people that conflict with what they're protesting today, you kind of lose a little credibility. That's just me. We're going to take a quick break, folks, as we're moving on. Stay tuned. We got more on the flip side of this. Smoke them if you got them.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back
After this.
That's guaranteed. Yes.
If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now. VIP Home Healthcare. 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare. There when you need them. That's 248-579-3805. And I'd like to welcome our new sponsor, Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass. You called me my master?
Kylo Ren. I sense a disturbance in the Force.
Do you mean my Uncle Luke?
You catch on fast for an idiot. You're going to have to face him.
I think I need more training.
That is undeniable. You being beaten by the untrained Rey proves you are not ready.
But I've killed my mom and my dad. How much more do I gotta do?
Don't you want to be like Darth Vader?
That's the whole reason why I'm here.
Well, he killed all the Jedi. And he killed anybody else he wanted to. That's how he rolled.
But I don't want to do all that.
Are you going to start throwing another temper tantrum?
I might.
You're dismissed. Go pout somewhere else.
No, I hate that guy.
Annabelle, hold on. We've got a big problem.
What's that, honey?
We are almost out of diesel.
Oh, that'd be a big problem.
What are we going to do?
Oh, sonny, just keep driving. I'll figure out something. There's a message coming in. Oh, well, put it on speakers, babies.
This is your last warning. I know you're almost out of gas, and you're about to be surrounded.
What you talking about, ho?
Oh, we had a bunch of ships jump to hyperspace, and they're in front of you now.
Oh, damn, that sucks. I guess we surrenders.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay, everybody's shut down the engines and prepares to be boarded.
Oh, we'll be over to pick you up in a minute.
I appreciate everything you've done. I will tell my brothers about you. I'm going to the escape pod now.
Oh, you be a coward.
That is right. My name is Finn, and I am a coward. Goodbye.
Well, I guess we should all abandon ships.
Everybody to the escape pods.
Is there a plane around here we can get, Stews?
Oh, there's an old rebel base not even a half a parsec away.
Come on, C-3PO. You come with me.
This is madness. We're doomed.
Get in, get in.
It's women and children's first, so you got to stay here with the boat.
What do you mean I gotta stay with the boat?
It's better that you stay with the boat. This is your boat, Carillion ship.
But that means I'm gonna get killed.
Well, you demand. That's what you're supposed to do.
I don't like this arrangement.
Don't be so selfish. The women's and children's got to get off first, you knows.
Well, if you put it that way.
Now, once we're away, honeys, you fly this big old boat right into that ship over there. Make sure we're out the way, though, huh? Because that's going to be a big explosion. All right, everybody, let's go. Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Forces of darkness, the treasonable maggots who collaborate must, can, and will be wiped from the face of the earth.
41 years. Rush says it's over. The band Rush, Geddy Lee, Neil Peart, and Alex Lifeson are calling it quits. In a recent interview with the Globe and Mail, guitarist Alex Lifeson recently gave some insight as to why the band has been very quiet. It's been a little over 2 years since Rush last toured. We have no plans to tour or record anymore. We're basically done. After 41 years, we felt it was enough. They are at the point where they're saying, hey, we've done all we could do. We're going to call it quits. The best years are behind us. We've made enough money. We can relax now. I mean, that's what most of Black Sabbath is doing. Ozzy will never end. He's like going to be like Keith Richards. He's going to live forever because I don't know what they're injecting into these guys' bodies. Whatever drugs they've taken have preserved these people for a long time. Speaking of drugs and preservation, the autopsy came out publicly for Mr. Tom Petty, and apparently he died of a massive drug overdose. Massive drug overdose. Tom's autopsy reports show the singer was on several pain medications: Oxycontin, Restorol, Xanax, Celexa, Phenytoin, and dispropionol, whatever, and some other drugs. So he's got access to all these drugs. Guy's been around forever. The doctors prescribe this many meds, beyond me, but their reasoning is because of the number of medical problems he had, including a fractured hip. He was touring with a fractured hip. Now, the family says that Tom's demise was due to the fractured hip. He insisted on touring for 53 concert dates with the condition, which worsened over time and caused him to take the meds. On the date that he had his heart attack, he was told his hip had graduated to a full-on break, and that's why the pain was so unbearable and may have caused him to overdose on the medicine. So what they're saying is Tom Petty didn't know when to quit because he wanted to keep touring even though his body told him, give it up. Give it up. And because he was on so much medication at the time that he killed himself. And the amounts of medication. He was on every kind of prescription drug there is. This goes back to what I was saying in the news hour. What the heck are they worried about pot when they have all these other drugs out there? Well, if you take them all together, still, You've never known somebody to smoke so much pot that they kill themselves, that they OD on them. They don't do that. You put yourself in a stupor and you're out like a light. All these other medications, forget it. Just you can kill yourself on all these things. So it's really sad. Because this is not how I wanted to remember Tom Petty, that the guy was taking too many pills. Because he didn't want to give up, because he didn't know when the end was here. He didn't want to see the end. Unlike Rush, who were like, we've done all we can do. We could keep touring if we want. But what's the point? Let's relax. There's no point in doing it. Tom, maybe he was a depressed individual. And because of that fact, he had to do something. He had to keep busy. I understand having to keep busy, folks. If I don't keep my mind going, if I'm not having project after project after project occupying my time, I can get bored. Then I start thinking of things that I don't want to think about. And it can take you into some dark places. So I understand the idea of keeping yourself busy so you can keep the things you don't want to think about off your mind. And that could just be the loss of a loved one or something like that. That doesn't mean you have problems you're just avoiding. Just means you don't want to think of, maybe you lost your dog, maybe you lost your mom, maybe you lost your wife, maybe you lost something. Not all problems are something that's right there in your face, and you've got to deal with it then. Some of the things haunt you for a long time. And I know they say you got to let them go, and it's not as easy to let things go as people say it is. And I'm a good one at it. I'm one of the better ones. I've learned to, just, all right, forget it. No good, it doesn't work. Just put it aside. We'll deal with it later. It's like the AC/DC thing. And I'm harping on that again because, AC/DC is my favorite band. But now that there's nobody really left besides Angus, should AC/DC continue? There comes a time where you just got to say, okay, I'm done. I'm finished. Let me enjoy whatever time I got left. And maybe Angus isn't ready to quit, but don't keep the band AC/DC going. Not at all. If you want to continue on, have yourself an all-star band and get a bunch of other rockers. You can have Axl as your singer. Go ahead and get a bunch of all-star musicians and go out there and rock us and call it Angus DC, call it anything you want besides AC/DC, and people will love it and they'll flock to it. I would love to be able to go to a show and see Angus with other famous musicians rocking it out, playing not only AC/DC songs but playing stuff from their bands. Maybe we do a Guns N' Roses AC/DC, get some Black Crow people together. Maybe somebody from Rush. You get Neil Peart to play drums with Angus. That'd be an interesting little matchup there. Just bothers me that things that like musicians go on too long. And do we, as individuals, do that ourselves? Do we go on too long? We don't want to give up. I read an article this week talking about some people won't retire. Why? Is it that expensive? Cut your expenses down so you don't have to worry about that. So you don't have to work when you're older. Maybe some people aren't good with money. I can even say, I'm not in a good position with money. There's no way I can technically retire today. And there were reasons for that. Some were my stupid reasons, and some of it were circumstances that were beyond my control. But you still, there comes a time where you just say, you know what? I don't need all that money. I don't need to live the high life. What do you need when you're older? Besides like medical care and stuff. I'm talking, what kind of physical things do you need? You should have accumulated everything you needed by the time you're ready to retire. That is completely my opinion, of course, because everybody's a little different. Everybody has a level of comfort that they want to be at. My level of comfort's a lot lower than other people. But I know some people, they have to spend, that money has to flow in and out, flow in and out. I wouldn't even know what to do with too much money. I really wouldn't. I'd be confused by it, like, geez, what do I do with all this money? What do I do with it? I don't even like the money. It's dirty. It's been in everybody else's hands. It carries germs. The people behind the money, that print the money, most of them are dirty people too. So now I've gone on a rant here. All about Tom Petty and musicians and AC/DC. I hadn't seen these bands. Actually, I didn't see Tom Petty. I saw Rush. I wasn't a big fan of Rush. Not like a lot of my friends were. They were a little lower on the pole. Like, it was like Van Halen. A lot of other people loved Van Halen. But I didn't like them. In fact, I thought they were cheesy. I liked them better with Sammy Hagar, for the most part. Because it was at least intelligent music. David Lee Roth, who's a great entertainer. I've seen him live. Great entertainer. Just, you know, his lyrics, everything, it just wasn't intelligent. And AC/DC is my favorite band. I'm speaking on intelligence. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's all AC/DC sang about. But my other favorite band, Black Sabbath. Geezer Butler wrote a lot of those lyrics, and those are some of the most intelligent lyrics by anybody. I mean, you have to get into Pink Floyd to get deeper into, you know, lyrics than like what Black Sabbath did in some of their heavy mid-career stuff there. That I'm talking mid-career with Ozzy now. And even with Dio, though, Dio was deep himself. Ian Gillan, he was in the band. A lot of people don't even recognize that album, the Born Again album. But that was one of the best Black Sabbath albums ever. Then they started jumping the shark. They did that Seventh Star album that had Glenn Hughes, great vocalist, great bassist. He sang and played bass for Deep Purple. Just wasn't Black Sabbath. I saw them on that tour. That's the first technical Black Sabbath tour that I've ever seen. And so that was an interesting tour. And I didn't know if I was ever going to see Black Sabbath with Ozzy again. I never thought that. So I went then. I was like, well, at least I get to see Tony, right? Eric Singer was on drums. The whole thing, it was some weird band. Then they lost that guy. They went through the Ray Gillan, which I don't think he made an album with them. And then they had that Tony Martin who did like 3 or 4 albums, Headless Cross and Eternal Idol, and there might have been one more in there. He was actually a great singer. Black Sabbath changed it a little bit. And if you could just skip the title Black Sabbath and just listen to the music, it's phenomenal. And I recommend that everybody pick up that album. Wish I could play it on the Music Hour. I think I'd get in trouble. I think I would. But that Eternal Idol album is phenomenal. But you have to remove yourself from the idea that that's Black Sabbath to be able to enjoy it better. Because once you look at it as Black Sabbath, you put a little bit of tarnish on it, and you don't look at it the same way. But Tony Martin, great vocalist. Ian Gillan, I'm sorry, Tony Iommi, fabulous guitar work on that album. Not so great on the Headless Cross. There was a couple of good songs on that one, but Eternal Idol was recorded better, produced better, and was much better in the writing department. What I was going to say with Ian Gillan is Tony Iommi and Ian Gillan did at least a song a few years back when John Lord was still alive, and that's a great tune. And if you get a chance to look that up, just go to Google or YouTube it and go Tony Iommi, Ian Gillan, John Lord. Just type those three in. The song will come up and check it out. They have Jason Newsted on bass, the guy from Iron Maiden on drums. So it's just a really great little song with a lot of good people on it. So we got to take a quick break, folks. On the other side of this, we've got Celebrity Drop It Like a Deuce with the band Prowess. Stay tuned.
Where do you think you're going?
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
So grab a beer and a smoke and sit your butt back down. Stay right here.
Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John Lebang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com.
All right, preparing to come out of hyperspace. All right, now use the planet to block our signature. Listen here, I know you know how to fly. Not saying anything, I was just telling you. Don't be all grumpy. Listen here, I'm grumpy too, you know. I'm supposed to be retired, and here I am, traipsing through the galaxy, trying to save the universe one more time. Yeah, I know. I don't want to hear it all too. It's not my fault the younger generation don't listen. Right. Well, hang on a minute. Let me force Skype with Kylo and tell him I'm coming so I can whoop his sorry ass. All right, let's see. Kylo, it's your Uncle Luke here. Come in, please.
This is Kylo. Hello, Uncle Luke.
I'm coming over there to kick your sorry behind.
Well, if you think you're man enough.
Listen here, I kick your behind and your big boss's behind. Tell him to come along too. That way the odds are even.
Okay, I'll let him know.
I'll be on the planet. Don't wait too long. Uncle Luke out. All right, Chewie. Find us a landing spot. I'm going to be in the back, stretching.
All iPods are clear.
BB-8, hail the lead ship.
Sir, we're being hailed.
Oh, put it on.
This is Admiral Akbar of the Resistance, formerly known as the Rebel Alliance.
Oh, I remember you.
Well, anyways, I know you got us outnumbered, but I'm going to fly right into one of your ships. So tell their families I'm really sorry. Engage!
Sir, he's jumping to hyperspeed.
What a busy day.
Oh, forget it. Looks like they're out of fuel.
Prepare a boarding party.
Yes, sir.
Oh, hi, Snoke.
Oh, Master Snoke.
What is it, Kylo?
My Uncle Luke just force-got me and said for me and you to go down to the planet and meet him there.
Both of us? Is he kidding?
He said the odds would be even or something.
That's laughable. Ready my ship, Kylo. We shall meet Luke Skywalker for the last time.
All right, then.
BB-8, prepare self-destruct mode.
Are you crazy?
We were gonna die anyways. Might as well do it this way.
Why did I pick this job? I could have been a waiter droid serving on a cruise ship.
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
I wanted to talk about the Star Wars Last Jedi and the amount of backlash that it apparently is getting on the internet. Now, I didn't like the movie at all. It was the worst Star Wars movie in my humble estimation. In fact, it wasn't even a good movie. It would be ranked pretty low as far as a Disney movie is concerned. The backlash on the internet is even worse than the backlash from me. And people are giving up on the entire Star Wars mythos. They're just giving up on everything because of one bad movie. And I don't want to throw that away as a Star Wars fan because I love Star Wars, minus The Last Jedi. And I didn't like The Force Awakens all that much. The prequels were what they were. They got us to this point at very worst. But I was thinking about it. How do you save the Star Wars franchise? You can go online and see how Mark Hamill is reacting and has reacted opening night when he saw the final product before his eyes. and he had saw that Luke Skywalker faded away like fairy dust. And Princess Leia was like Mary Poppins. Maybe they need to get Princess Leia and Yondu together. Do that Mary Poppins, y'all? I don't know. But they have ruined Star Wars for myself and millions of core fans. Not just the average run-of-the-mill fans, but the core fans have been not only let down, but they thought they got the big middle finger with this movie. But I think I have a way to save it. Or at least a way to begin to save it. And bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to go too long into this because it really focuses on the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie. You have the opening scene on somebody's eyes sleeping, and it's a really tight shot. And you slowly zoom out, slowly zoom out, slowly zoom out. And the eyes open as if they're waking up. And as it continues to pan back, there's Luke. And he realizes that he had just had a nightmare. And that entire movie, the whole plot of it, could be used as a dream sequence, a very long, extensive, weird dream sequence. And that's why I think you can get away with it as a dream sequence, because there was a lot of weird, especially weird humor and weird creatures and things Luke would not normally do. So you could attribute all this to the dream. And as he wakes up and he goes about his morning routine, he heads outside. He gets to the cliff where, at the end of Force Awakens, and then that's where he meets Rey. And we can pick up from there. Now, what happens beyond that? You better get some good writers in there. I could go into hours and hours and hours of ideas after that. But without the beginning, without that beginning that I just gave you, where it just takes that whole movie, The Last Jedi, and flushes it down, calls it a dream, that's different for Star Wars, and it saves Star Wars. That brings Snoke back, and all the real characters come back. And you know what you do? Instead of killing off Luke the way you did, instead of doing that, you send Luke out there to save Ben Solo's life, or soul, or whatever. Save him from the dark side, and you have Luke take on Snoke. Big epic battle at the end of 3. Luke dies, Snoke dies, maybe Kylo Ren's the only one who survives with Rey. End of the movie, you save the series, and you go on from there. Disney, if you're listening, that's what I would do. But chances are they're not going to listen. We recently did an interview with the band Prowess on our music hour, and they sat in for a little celebrity Drop It Like a Deuce.
If you want to win a prize,
Drop it like a deuce.
are you sure this is a good idea? If you want to have a good time,
Drop it like a deuce.
I have a bad feeling about this.
no need to sterilize.
Drop it like a deuce.
Oh no.
Drop it like a deuce. Drop it like a deuce. Drop it like a deuce.
Gibson or Fender?
He plays drums, man. Yeah. He doesn't know. Yeah, I'm a drummer. Gibson, bro.
Still got to answer it, man. You got to drop it, man. Drop it like a deuce. Answer.
I'll go Gibson.
All right, go around the horn, everybody.
Yeah, Gibson. Gibson. Yeah, definitely Gibson. Yeah, the Gibson's hands down.
All right, number 2 question: Taco Bell or Taco Sluts?
Taco Bell, Taco Slut. Taco Slut. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. You're teaching us something new, man. I know what Taco Bell is, but I don't know what the other one is.
You might find some here in Detroit when you show up.
All right, well, let's go look for an adventure.
Let's go taco slut then.
Yeah, I'm looking for an adventure.
Wireless bras or wireless phones?
Wireless bras, because those wires are a mother trucker.
I don't know. He wears them. I don't. I go. I don't mind a little underwire.
Definitely wireless bras.
Yeah, probably the wireless bra.
Russian vodka or Russian women?
Russian vodka or Russian women?
Russian women.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely Russian women.
Man, I drink exclusively Luxusova vodka, man, and that's Polish, so I gotta go with Russian women.
All right. AC/DC with or without Axel?
If anybody in this fucking bus says with Axel, I'm firing them.
Without, definitely. Hands down.
All right, who's the biggest girl magnet in band?
Who's what now?
Who's the biggest girl magnet in the band?
Oh, that's got to be Dalton, man. He's the singer. He got that blonde hair he likes to whip around. That's got to be Dalton. Everybody else feels like they're hot on his heels, but they really ain't. I know that as a casual observer and a married man. Guitar 1 and Guitar 2 are both married, actually, and we get to watch this with a bird's eye view. It's Dalton. The others try, but yeah.
All right, what's the band's drink?
Fireball.
Anything alcoholic.
Anything alcoholic.
Yeah, I drink Luxusova vodka. I mean, we drink whatever's free, John, to be quite honest with you. If there's people out there want to buy us something, and people look at us funny when they say, what do you want to drink? And we say, whatever's cheap. But that's what we mean. And we ain't trying to get the taste for top shelf, man. We drink the worst of the worst. Give it.
Hey, I saw your holiday PSA, bro. I know you're hurting out there. All right, 2 more. Short band story.
So we were traveling on that America tour that we did over the last summer, and I, being a North Carolina native and as southern as can be, we got over to, I think it might have been Nevada or something. We were in a Denny's in the middle of an India reservation, which happened to be the most weird thing you would ever experience. Arizona or Nevada, it was one of them, We were pretty stoned during those days. But anyways, well, we get to this place where I was sitting in this Denny's and we're going to get food. And they're asking us, well, what do you want to drink? And I, being Southern, and not realizing that, over that way, no, they don't have sweet tea everywhere, just ask for sweet tea. And everybody laughed their asses off because they thought it was the funniest thing. And the woman that was the waitress, and she was the prettiest girl in the whole world, looked at me like I was fucking stupid. And then I did get the sweet tea. I got the sweet tea. That's the moral of the story. But I think they pulled it out of the toilet because it was just some fucking dirty water. Man.
And he had to put sugar packets in it, actually. It wasn't sweet when he got it. Yeah.
Movie that reminds you of your childhood.
Rockstar. Forrest Gump.
The Stoned Age. Goonies.
Joe Dirt.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another 60 minutes of the John Lebang Show. I'd like to thank all of my affiliate stations for allowing me to be part of their brilliant networks. Please go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. And I also want to thank you, the listener, for giving me an hour of your time each and every week. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, this is John Lebang signing off from the Banger Studios. See you next week.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.
Hey Ben, long time no see. Hi there, Uncle Luke. Where's your master at? Was he too chicken to come on down here?
Oh, I am here, Skywalker. I would not pass up this opportunity to kill the last Jedi.
So you think you're bad enough to kill me, huh?
We'll have to find out in the next movie.
Oh, it's the end of the movie? Yeah, but if we fight it out here, we might not have to make another movie.
Well, we've got everybody under contract.
All right, whatever you say. May the force be with you, everybody. See ya.